Welcome back to another episode of the Scrappy Business Owner Podcast. We are in the middle of a series on how you can start your business. And I think this is episode number 4. So, up until this point, you have learned to figure out what your business is going to be. You picked out a name, you bought a URL, you figured out what things you're going to need to spend money on, and you have set up your social media accounts, your Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And so this episode, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to call it. My original plan was I was going to call it How to Represent Yourself Well. But as I was preparing for this, I realized that we are all different people. We all have different businesses. We all have different clients, and representing ourselves well looks different to everybody. Of course, I'm going to give you a few of the common denominators in all of the business places when it comes to representing ourselves well. But if you'll notice today, if you're watching me on my YouTube channel, I'm wearing a hoodie today. Normally, in all the other videos that I will show up on when it comes to YouTube, I'm normally like the professional type of look and the appearance. But then the more I was thinking about it, the more I realized, well, not everybody's going to be on YouTube all the time. We have to show up on social media on a regular basis, and we want to represent ourselves well. But I know for a fact that I don't show up on social media with a full suit or anything like that. I show up as I'm able to. In fact, one of the videos I recently did, I was on the patio. I had some makeup on and I had my hair like pulled back. I hadn't done it at all. And I just showed up. And one of the things that I have continued to tell you in this series is done is better than perfect, and authenticity always wins. And so as we are talking about how to represent ourselves well, I want you to take the pressure off. You don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. You don't have to put on this facade of, you have everything together, though it's helpful. If you want to represent yourself well, you don't want to come in to social media or on YouTube and look like you're falling apart all the time, because it'll be really hard for customers to want to buy from you if you're always a mess, or if you're the hot mess express, is what I've heard lots of people talk about. So I want you to realize that as you are showing up on social media, it could be in a post, in a picture, in a video, whatever that is, representing yourself is going to look different in a multitude of different ways, depending on how you handle things. So what I'm going to use myself as an example and some of my clients as well. So one of the big things that I have come through over the years is I grew up in banking. Grew up in banking, but I spent almost my entire adult career up to this point in the banking industry. So that means I was in the professional industry for a long time. So I had basically beat in my brain that, you got to look professional all the time. You got to have the suit jackets. You got to have the nice shirts, the full, all the things in your face, all your hair is done, all the things. I remember the years where it was like you had to wear pantyhose and closed-toe shoes. And I remember when they opened the door for us to have open-toe shoes, and we thought the world was like, oh, this is so amazing. So the ebb and flow of how culture dictates things, how your industry is, that also plays a part into it. But I've also noticed, as I have stepped out away from the banking scene over the last 3 years, is I still carry a little bit of banking with me with my professionalism, but I also do things like this where I show up with a hoodie, and that's okay. You can show up however you want to represent yourself well. Now, here are a few tips that I want to encourage you on. For my personal standpoint, I don't even leave the house without any form of makeup on whatsoever. That's just the way I am. That's just the way I've always been. And I could wear a hoodie and all the things, and I will still have makeup on. So that's up to you if you want to wear makeup. But I will tell you, if you have ever put on makeup for like Sunday at church, you look differently and you feel differently. You feel maybe a little bit more confident. And so I want to encourage you that if you're a female and you're looking to show up on social media, and you're like, ugh, I don't even want to show up on a video. I don't want to put my camera on my phone. And I want you to look at yourself and I want you to think, is it because I feel gross? or I feel like I'm not put together. I want you to think about the mindsets that you have, because I will tell you that yes, I could show up on a social media video, I could do an Instagram story without some makeup on, but I would still want to do a filter, just to make myself feel better, like I represent myself better. So I want you to think about when you're showing up on social media, it does help to have a little bit somewhat dressed up type of thing. Like I said, I'm holding this all loosely, but these are just some things that I have thought through in my head. Is I will feel better about myself when I have something, when I'm wearing some sort of makeup on, or, even if it's just slapping on some lipstick or some mascara or whatever it is, I feel better and more confident showing up on a camera than if I had no makeup and my hair was in a ponytail. So think about some of those things. Another place that I want you to consider is, like, where are you going to be doing these videos from? You want to have some good lighting. So if you are, like I did the video on the patio the other day, I made sure that it wasn't super bright so my eyes weren't squinty, and I wanted to make sure that I had at least a decent amount of lighting in my face so you could see me, and then I could actually like look into the camera and see you. So lighting matters too, and some of the best lighting that you can do is you're showing up and you're like pointing yourself towards a window. So right now I have a ring light on right now. So I'll include this resource in the show notes as well. But if you have a tripod, which I do all my B-roll on a tripod when I'm running around or doing videos or whatever, like even today, I have a web camera that is on my tripod that has a ring light on it. And it's because I need some good lighting and I needed a good camera. So lighting matters when it comes to that. So your appearance, how you look, how you're dressing, matters. The lighting that you're using matters. The camera that you're using matters. Now, we talked about authenticity earlier in this episode. And so you can use your phone. For sure. If you are going to be on social media, I prefer that actually. It'll be a lot easier for you to do. You do not need fancy camera work or any like high-end cameras when it comes to showing up on social media or on YouTube. I don't have any of that. I don't want to use any of that, and you don't have to as well, unless you are an actual like media company and you need to do that. But you will also learn that, and I shared in the last episode, is when it comes to video, there's some mental things that you might have to overcome in addition to like showing up and like making sure you feel good about yourself before you're showing up on a video. It's what type of camera are you more comfortable with? So if I was looking into a real camera, I would be on the struggle bus in a big way. I do not like looking at a camera for some reason. It just freaks me out and it messes with my brain. But I can also talk to a webcam like I'm looking at right now, and I can talk to my phone without any issues whatsoever. And that's because it doesn't feel as formal to me. It's more personalized to me anyway, and it's a lot easier. We're used to looking at our phone. We're used to taking selfies with our kids or our grandkids. We're used to doing some of those things. So if you want to have confidence and you want to represent yourself, well, you don't need the fancy stuff. You can still make this work. Lots of times what I will do, like if I'm recording a video or something, like if I'm doing a B-roll and I have my face showing or something like that, I'll use filters or whatever, but I'm just using my phone. That's all I'm using. It's something easy. It makes it easy to pull out and to just get it done. Remember, done is better than perfect. So those are some of the tips that I have learned along the way when it comes to any form of social media. Now, I will tell you, when representing yourself well, there are a few things I want you to consider on the professional side of things. And this is more or less just like if you want to update your LinkedIn profile, or if you want to have like business cards with your photo on it. You're not going to want to have photos that are taken from your phone. Yes, you could do that if you wanted to. And in fact, some of the cameras nowadays with phones are really good. But I want to encourage you, when it comes to representing, whether it's your profile picture or a business card or something like that, get some professional photos done. As a business owner, I will tell you, there's lots of things that can make you feel like a business owner that makes you, the next level. but having professional headshots taken is a game changer. It really does. It makes you feel like, okay, I am stepping into this industry, I'm stepping into this business, and I'm going to put my best foot forward. Okay. So I want to encourage you, find a photographer. We all know somebody. We all know somebody that can take some really good headshots. Very simple. We go back to the episode where I was talking about bartering and figuring out what you're going to pay for. That's something that you can totally barter for. Find a friend to take photos of you and do some headshots. In fact, I think I needed some headshots. I had a friend when I first started my business taking photos of me, and they had a decent camera. Were they great? Not really, but it was still somewhat of a professional headshot that I had taken. And eventually, over the years, I have just taken extra photos. I've taken some lifestyle photos, which are really kind of fun. Is when you're sitting at a computer. Some of the things, if you go to my social media platforms, you'll be able to see photos where I'm just sitting there. I might be looking at the camera. I might be looking away from the camera. I might be sipping on a cup of coffee or something like that. Those types of photos, they're actually really fun. And it's a good opportunity for you to connect with a photographer anyway. I liked the fact that I was in a business, so I was actually able to like have my photos taken inside of one of my customers' coffee shops. So it was an awesome opportunity for me to showcase my customer's coffee shop while I was doing it. So it was kind of a fun way to do that. Plus, it just makes you feel fun. When you have the opportunity to take photos, think about when you take family photos, how excited you get to see all of the photos at the end. Think about you're getting family photos taken, only it's for your business instead. So it's a nice little fresh start for your business. So that is something that is really, really nice to do. So I want to encourage you to do that, especially if you're like in the industries of like bookkeeping, marketing, financial, all of those things. If you're one of those tax people we talked about last week, you're going to want to have a professional photo taken, a headshot of that, because if I was going to have my tax person help me with my taxes and I saw that their headshot was like upside down in a bar or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, you're not touching my taxes. So just know, and I know that's a complete extreme when it comes to professionalism, but those are just some things I want you to consider. Now, the other things I want you to think about is like the atmosphere where you're actually at. So if you're going to do a story or you're going to post something on Instagram because we want to get it done, we want to post and we want to, let's hit record on my camera, wherever we're at, make sure it's not a loud environment so people can hear you. Some people I've seen, one of the gals I follow, she's actually my Pilates instructor. She posts videos all the time and she has little earbuds that she has plugged in that are connected to her phone and they have a little microphone in there. It doesn't have to be fancy. It does not have to do anything. Sometimes I'll put my earbuds in and that's the microphone I use sometimes, but it's just good to have that, especially if you're in a loud environment. But again, I would avoid loud environments if at all possible. And then make sure like your areas are cleared up. You don't have a ton of clutter. This is specific for people that might be showcasing something. If you're going to be making a product or something on your desk or whatever, just make sure you have the clutter cleaned up. Of course, you're going to need materials off to the side. You're going to need to bring stuff in, but just look at your surroundings, because if it's super messy behind you, it's going to be distracting for people on, that are following you on social media. So like right now, if you're looking at my photos, I have my bookshelf right behind me. I have a little plant because I had a huge space in the wall when I was doing these videos. Is I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a plant there. I'm going to move that up and I'm going to move my chair forward a little bit. So look around in your environment. Now, when I was recording that video on the patio, I had, again, make sure the lighting was right, but I also didn't want to I had a bunch of leaves and a kind of a mess that we were just cleaning up over the weekend. So I just made sure I pivoted myself away so that you couldn't see the messy leaves and the rakes and all the things that we had behind us. So those are just a few things for you to think about. Now, I could have totally showed you the leaves because I didn't have my hair done, I can tell you that. So I could have totally done that, but I just chose not to. So just know when it comes to anything that you're representing yourself, you just need to look around. Look around your surroundings, see what is the volume, what is the lighting, what is behind me, is it going to be messy, is it going to represent myself well? But in the end, it matters on authenticity. Straight up authenticity. You want to show up for your customers no matter where you're at. So, like, one thing that I've been giggling about is I actually recorded a video. I haven't posted it yet because I'm not done yet. So, I got this thing. I got this tripod thing that's supposed to suction cup to a window so I can record more B-roll. I haven't really done anything with this because I don't know how to use it yet. There's a few things on here that have me kind of like, I kind of got stuck on it. So if you're watching me on YouTube, you can see it. So I have this tripod and I want to be able to use it and suction cup things so I can do more B-roll, but I don't know how to use it. So if you don't know how to use something, you won't do it. So if you don't know how to use your camera on your phone, or if you don't know how to use a tripod, get some help. You need to have some help. But so this is one thing that is really helpful when it comes to representing yourself well, is just have some things to help you when you're going to record a video. That's why I'm recommending the tripod that I'll share in the link in the show notes with the ring light that you can attach your camera to. The cool thing about this tripod that I'm talking to right now is that it has that phone holder. And so I can record on my phone inside this ring light. So I'm already fixing part of the problems. I'm fixing the lighting. I have my phone up there. I'm looking at my phone. I'm having the confidence and I've cleared my surroundings. And that was all I had to do. So that is what's really important, is I'm showing up no matter what. So once I figure out how to do this and how to use this little attachment for my phone, I'm going to be able to do way more photos and more videos than what I have been with this big clunky tripod that I have right now. So just know, get yourself some tools that can help you show up a little bit more and to do more things. So I'll include all of these in the show notes. Again, I'm still trying to figure out what this tripod, how I can actually work it. But so far it looks kind of fun. And so I'm looking forward to trying it. So the big thing I want you to learn from this episode is show up. Show up. You know how to represent yourself well. You know how you can make yourself feel well to show up on social media or on YouTube. In fact, today, one of the other tips that I'll share with you is I'm showing up on a Sunday after church. So where I could be taking a nap. I could totally take a nap after this. But I had come home, I changed out of my clothes, I put my hoodie on, I had my lunch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do my episode today. I'm going to record it today because I have my hair done. I'm not wasting my opportunity, because if I have all this done, then I can actually show up. So just know those are a few of the tips that I have done as I, over the years, try to figure out how I can show up a little bit better, because I will tell you early on, I wouldn't do it. If I didn't have the full suit and all the things, I wouldn't have shown up. And today I'm a completely different person because I want to show up. I want to show you that authenticity wins every single time, and we want to be done, and that's better than perfect. So as you step out this week, your homework is going to be figuring out what your mental mindset is when it comes to how can I show up and represent myself well. Take advantage of it. If you're getting dressed on a Sunday and you're doing it, then I want you to take a video too. Figure out ways to show up and represent yourself well, but also have the confidence to do it as well. So if you have a tip or you want to tell me in a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, let me know. I would love to know how you showed up this week and represented yourself well in any form of video. So I look forward to seeing you next week.